Okay, good morning. Committee on Transportation has a hearing at 10 a.m. agenda. It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2022, conference room 423. Okay, we have a good number of bills members and members of the audience. Okay, so I read this the first few hearings. I'm just gonna say for the most part that we do have a 2-minute time limit for testimony. So when you do hear a buzzer behind me, then please summarize and wrap up, okay? All right, that's pretty much it. Okay, so why don't we just get started on our agenda. House Bill 1403, relating to an alternate route site selection, in Puna. Okay, up first, you have DHHL.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, Vice Chair Iligan, members of the committee. The department would support this bill if the amendment that we suggest is included, which would be to exclude any routes on DHHL owned lands. Thank you for the opportunity to testify.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Okay, up next, we have BNF Director Craig Hurai. Okay, with comments. DOT.
Good morning, Chair Aquino, Vice Chair Ilagan, and honorable members of the Transportation Committee. Jade Butay for DOT. We stand on our submitted written testimony offering comments. Roadways such as the alternate route being developed and requested by this bill typically fall under county jurisdiction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Okay, up next, we have Hawaii County Council, Miley David. Okay, in support, Office of the Mayor, County of Hawaii. Okay, Mayor Ra, in support. Okay, Justine Kamele Mela. In opposition, Micah Munekata of Ulupono. In support, Puna for the Mo'opuna. In opposition, we have Bernice Walker, Sacred Heart Church in Papua. In support, Todd Riley Sr. In support, okay, Bridget Bales. In opposition, okay, members, we do have at least 24 individuals, okay, testifying mostly in support, and there are a good let's just say there's a handful in opposition if it goes through DHHL land. Okay, so they'll be all noted for the record. Members, we do have quite a bit of late testimony. This looks like about, again, several dozen. All in support. Okay, any others wishing to testify on House Bill 1403? Okay, seeing none. Members, any questions? You have a question for DOT?
Mr.
Thank you, Director. Now, for what the bill is looking for, obviously we've heard some of the concerns, the ongoing concerns of the area, especially from the area representative. I'd like to kind of know, what would be the cost of a study to look into a alternate route there? And if so, where are the available funds?
Chair, if you don't mind, can you unmute Rachel Roper? She's my.
Okay. Thanks, Director.
No, Jade, I'll take it.
Oh, okay, Deputy, thank you.
Hello, Chair. So sorry. Hey, so the study in general is going to be about $1.5 to $2 million. This is based on the project cost of about 200 million. So that's generally the cost that we'd be looking at for a study like this. And in general, that'd be a big lift for the department to push towards a county project. Now, that being said, I should mention that the county at this time is getting an apportionment of about 6.5 million or so of federal funds. And in general, that's lower than the apportionment that they normally should get. But that was an apportionment that was agreed to with the previous administrations because they had difficulties in delivering the federal projects that were on the docket. That being said, we're working with the Mayor Roth's administration to increase that apportionment to appropriately reflect what they should be getting. So around $10 million or so. That's another 3.5 to 4 million that could potentially be utilized for county projects such as this.
Okay, thanks, Deputy. Okay, members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 2351, into traffic safety on Cunha Road. Okay, up first we have BNF Director Craig Hirai. Okay, with comments. Okay, as believed, that's the extent. That's the extent of the testimony received. Any others wishing to testify?
Chair, we submitted testimony and apologize for, that our testimony was submitted late, but we stand on our testimony in support.
Okay, thank you, Director. Duly noted. We'll be looking for that testimony. Okay, but thank you very much. Okay, any others wishing to testify? House Bill 2351. If not, members, any questions? I have a quick question for DOT.
Yes, Chair.
Okay, Director, just a quick question. The bill calls for the department, you guys would be required to deploy speed monitoring technology. The bill is pretty vague, so I'm not quite sure what that entails. Maybe if you guys can kind of explain what that entails. I mean, is this cameras? Is this something that will, what is the impact? Are we trying to cite? What other alternatives are we looking at? So maybe that's, if Deputy, maybe you can take that question, please.
Sure, Chair. Thanks for the opportunity. So our thought process, looking at the bill, looking at the needs of that route, what we see in this area is relatively high crash incidents for relatively low volumes on this route. What we've seen in the past is high speeding that occurred in this area. So what we would recommend, should this bill pass, is putting in speed feedback signs that show the drivers what speeds they're going on this route, but also collect speed data for the DOT. We can use that data to implement infrastructure improvements that could help manage the speed in the route if that's the danger in that area. Would also recommend doing a week or two at a time of video logging in that area to see what kind of driver behavior we can see, to see if there's any other infrastructure, educational, or enforcement actions that could be recommended based on that. But the instrumentation that we limited to would have been speed feedback signs that took speeds along that route to get more information.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Thank
Deputy. Anyone representing Honolulu Police Department? Okay, thank you. Okay, members, any other questions on House Bill 2351? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. House Bill 1813. Okay, pilot project for certain bridges. Okay, under Highways Division. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Director Craig Hirai, Budget and Finance. Okay, with comments. Okay, Luann Casey. Support. Okay, members, we do have testimony from the Department of Transportation.
Chair, we stand on our testimony, offering comments.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Okay, believe that's all the testimony we have. Any others wishing to testify? House Bill 1813. Yes, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, I have a quick question for the department. Deputy, maybe you can kind of share some of the updates, you know, what's currently being done at this time. So please.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chair. For this bill, it seeks to give us the authority to clear or maintain under the bridges. But by statute and by federal requirements, we already have that. We maintain the areas under our bridges consistently throughout the year to make sure that we have free flow under the bridges when we see that there's blockages. And this is especially so prior to storms. Now, for one of the bridges that were mentioned in this bill, Opaula, that bridge never really had any flooding concerns in the past. During this last storm in November last year, there was a structure that was washed under the bridge. And that structure that came from upstream blocked off the water flow, which caused the flooding issues. But prior to that, we've not seen anything. At Pokiwai, that area is always, there's sand being pushed and pulled under those abutments. Prior to storms, we always make sure that we clear out areas and we coordinate with the city on the sand movements in those areas. Really, the biggest issues that we find for our bridges and keeping them flood-free is debris that gets washed from upstream. But we try our best to make sure that we take care of all those issues as soon as they get to our structures themselves.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. House Bill 1485, okay, relating to litter control. Okay, first, Budget and Finance Director, Craig Hirai. Okay, with comments, Dustin Swan, Daniel Levy. Okay, both in support. Members, we do have a good number of individual support. I'm assuming from the Big Island. Okay. Members, we do have late testimony from several individuals, both in support. Any others wishing to testify? Members, we do have testimony from Department of Transportation.
Aloha again, Chair. We apologize for our late testimony, but we stand on our testimony in support.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any others wishing to testify? House Bill 1485, relating to litter control. Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, I have a quick question for DOT, please. Thank you, Director and Deputy. Just real quick, can this bill be done administratively versus having a bill?
This can, and I should say up front, I really appreciate Vice Chair's efforts in all of this. He's been helping us tremendously in his district specifically in trying to make sure that we get our highways litter free. So I really appreciate that. This bill can be, or this can be changed administratively. What we've not done so in the past because it takes a lot of resources to train, to provide safety gear, equipment, and signage for groups that come in. So we've kept it at that 2-year period. Now that being said, getting more people in is better than getting less people in for the 2-year time frame. So we totally agree with the approach. We'll change it administratively, and we'll work with the Vice Chair on this. From my perspective, and just respectfully saying, I think the bill is unnecessary, but we'll work with Vice Chair on this.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy. Okay, members, any other questions? House Bill 1485. Okay, seeing none, let's move on to House Bill 2184, relating to a emergency appropriation for Department of Transportation. Okay. Members, we do have testimony from DOT.
Chair, we stand on our submitted written testimony in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director. Okay, I believe that's all the testimony we received. Any others wishing to testify? House Bill 2184. Seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. House Bill 2182. Okay, relating to the State Highway Safety Council. Okay, up first, we have Hawaii Public Health Institute, Amanda Fernandez. In opposition. Okay, members, we do have late testimony from Tommy Noyes, Hawaii Path Inc. Okay, also in opposition. Okay, members, we do have testimony from Department of Transportation.
Chair, we stand on our testimony in strong support.
Okay, thank you, Director. Okay, any others wishing to testify? House Bill 2182. Okay, seeing none. Members, any questions? Okay, I have a quick question for, oh, sorry. Rep. Nakamura.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask about one of my constituents had some concerns about reducing the number of members on the State Hawaii Safety Council, citing the act that was passed last year, the Vision Zero Act, and the need to implement that. And the importance of representation. So just wanted to find out what are the problems that you're having with the membership on this council.
Thanks, Rep. This is Ed Sniffen. So that council in general, we have 20 members that have been set. We've been only been able to fill about 10 to 11 at a time historically. And this is from the time that I've been at the DOT since 2006 or so. At this time, we only have 5 members. So we keep trying to fill it. We keep trying to get more people involved, and we can't get that 20 member connection. So from my perspective, we're just trying to get it down to the membership that we know we can fill. If we can get more membership, that'd be excellent.
And is it, do you have representation? Is your goal to have representation from all parts of the state?
Absolutely.
And every island?
Absolutely. I mean, Tommy was a part of it for a while.
Right. And is the problem getting names, potential candidates? Do you need assistance with that?
So we've been asking legislators, we've been asking community members to offer up names, and we've been asking them, but we can't get the applicants to apply for these positions and then commit to being a part of the council.
I see. Because I've not, well, maybe because Kauai was represented, we weren't asked, but how do you inform representatives or senators that there are openings?
We just reach out to them, and I can get more detailed feedback from my staff on how we do it and send it to this committee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, any other questions? Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 1411. Okay, relating to the registration of vehicles. This is a part of a series of abandoned vehicle bill package. Okay, that was set forth by the Vice Chair. Okay. So up first, we have County of Kauai, Reiko Matsuyama. Okay, support. Okay, Hawaii Council of Mayors. Also in support, County of Kauai, Felicia Cowden. And support, Mason Chalk, also of the County of Kauai. And support, members, we do have a good number of individuals all in support. We do have Daniel Levy, who is in opposition. Members, we do have late testimony. Hawaii County Department of Environmental Management. And support, Ralph Boyer and Sid Hoffeld. They're both in support. Any others wishing to testify? House Bill 1411. Okay, seeing none. Members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 1452. Okay. This repeals the cap for certificates of registration. Okay, up first. Okay, we have County of Kauai, Councilmember Mason Chalk. And support, Tax Foundation of Hawaii.
Hi, good morning. Jane McMillan on behalf of Tom Yamachika and the Tax Foundation of Hawaii. We will stand on our written testimonies and make comments on the measure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Enterprise Holdings, Mihoko Ito.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Mihoko Ito on behalf of Enterprise Holdings. We submitted testimony in opposition to this measure. We are concerned because lifting the cap on the county registration fee means that it essentially could be unlimited, the amount of registration fees that would be charged from the county. And we think that could be a great concern to not just the rental car companies, but to all residents who would pay this fee ultimately. We would also note that we are collaborating with several counties on another measure that impacts the county registration fee. That bill number is House Bill 1688, and we would prefer that as the vehicle to move forward. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, we do have lead testimony from Avis Budget Group.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Lori Lum on behalf of Avis Budget Group. Our testimony is very similar to the previous testifiers, so I won't repeat. But again, if an increase in the fee above the current $10 maximum allowed is necessary, we ask that you do cap the fee. So thank you for the opportunity to submit testimony, and we do ask for your consideration in increasing the cap instead of repealing it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, I believe that's all the testimony we have for House Bill 1452. Okay, any others wishing to testify? Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? House Bill 1452. Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 1681 relating to TNCs. Okay, up first, we have Hawaii Insurance Council, Alison Uoka.
Morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. Allison Uoka for Hawaii Insurance Council. We have a couple comments just on the insurance portions of the bill. Specifically in the definitions section, if we could have the definitions of transportation network company and transportation network company driver be referenced in the current insurance code, I think that would avoid confusion in the future. And then in section 4, we would like to see the insurance provisions made permanent. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next, we have Garrett Sakakita, Hawaii Transportation Association. In opposition, Uber Technologies, Bob Toifuku.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm testifying on behalf of Uber, and they are in basic support of this bill. And I'll be very brief because many of you have heard the reasons why Uber supports this bill. Main reason is to provide uniform regulation throughout the state of Hawaii. Only Honolulu now has a law regulating TNCs, which was passed in 2016. The written testimony spells out how Uber operates and the requirements for drivers, such as background screening, etc. And it also makes the insurance provision of $1 million coverage permanent, and Uber is in favor of this as well. But I'd like to focus on the provision requiring a driver to obtain a GE tax license before being able to drive. And that is on page 7, lines 2 and 3. We do not feel that it's a good public policy matter because it would apply only to TNC drivers. I am not aware of any other Hawaii law that prior to allowing a person to provide services that requires a business to first get a copy of the person's GET tax license. Just for your information, Uber informs all drivers that they need to get a GE license and also offers to assist them. And they do that periodically if the driver continues to drive. Uber also sends a 1099 to DOTAX, which is the best record we feel of a driver earning income and responsible to pay not only his or her income tax, but the GET, general excise tax as well. And therefore, I feel that it should be deleted from this bill. We have also suggested similar amendments to the definitions as stated by Allison Ueoka at HIC. She and I talked about it, and we think it's the best way to avoid confusion.
Excuse me,
Mr.
Bob.
Chairman and members, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Okay, members, we do have late testimony. Department of Transportation.
Aloha, Chair. We stand on our submitted written testimony in support.
Okay, thank you very much. Any others wishing to testify? House Bill 1681 relating to TNCs. Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Yeah, I have a quick question for DOT. Okay,
Yes,
thank you
sir.
very much, Director and Deputy. So the bill is very specific that that your department will be in charge of the permitting for TNCs to be done statewide. Is that something that you guys are comfortable with on the permitting oversight?
Hello, Chair. This is Ed Sniffen. Yes, we're comfortable. It'll be run through our Highway Safety Office if this bill passes.
Okay. And do you have the necessary resources to carry this out?
We do. They already run a statewide program for safety and permitting.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, any other questions? Yes, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 1718. Okay, relating to measurement standards. Okay, first, Department of Agriculture.
Good morning, Chair, committee members. The department will stand on its written testimony, but we would like to note that it's our understanding that the taxi industry was previously regulated by the counties and their respective police departments. And we would suggest that if the committee were inclined to move this forward, that it would consider reinstating the prior regulatory framework under the counties as opposed to the state. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, members, I believe that's all the testimony we have. Okay, on House Bill 1718. Okay, any others wishing to testify that I might have missed? Okay, House Bill 1718 again. Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. Okay, House Bill 1515. Okay, relating to aircraft. Okay, members, we do have testimony from DOT, Ross Higashi.
Chair, we stand on our comments as submitted.
Okay, thank you very much. Claudine Tomasa. In support. Okay, members, we do have late testimony from Blue Hawaiian Helicopters. Okay, providing comments. Okay, members, that's all the testimony we received regarding this bill. Any others wishing to testify? House Bill 1515. Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, I have a quick question for Department of Transportation, Airports Division. Okay. Thank you, Deputy, for being here. I just want to ask, could you clarify your comments made in your testimony? In particular, the concerns under Part 121 and 135 regarding FAA requirements?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain. So to answer your question, in relation to all carriers under Part 130, 121 and 135, this proposal only requires and targets quote unquote tour operators to have such insurance coverage noted in the bill. So as a result, this would be considered discrimination and jeopardize our federal grant assurances.
Okay. And annually, about what is the grant amount that we typically would get from the FAA?
On an average, year by year, $25 to $30 million. If you want to include PFCs, prior to the pandemic, it was about 45 million, so a total of about $75 million a year.
Okay, thank you very much, Deputy.
You're welcome.
Okay, members, any other questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the next measure. House Bill 2434 relating to water carriers. Okay, Department of Ag. Please unmute yourself, please, Morris.
Sorry, I thought I did.
Okay, start all over now.
Good morning, Chair and committee members.
Thank you.
The department will stand on its written testimony. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Hawaii Public Utilities Commission.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Leo Asuncion, Commissioner with the PUC. We'll stand on our written testimony in support with comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, Ulupono Initiative.
Morning, Chair Aquino, Vice Chair Ilagan, members of the committee, Micah Munikata on behalf of the Ulupono Initiative. We'll stand on our written testimony in support. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, up next are Chris Nakagawa, Young Brothers.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee. Chris Nakagawa on behalf of Young Brothers. We will also stand on our written comments available for any questions you may have. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, I believe that's the testimony we have received. Any others wishing to testify that I might have missed? House Bill 2434 relating to water carriers. Okay, seeing none, members, questions? Any questions? Okay. No questions. Okay, let's move on to House Bill 1689. Okay, relating to fireworks. Okay, this would require shippers that know that their cargo will include fireworks or articles, pyrotechnic, to report certain information to applicable county fire departments. Okay, up first, you have Gary Lum, Hawaii State Fire Council.
Good morning, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Gary Lum, testifying on behalf of the State Farm Council. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill.
Okay, thank you very much. Up next, we have Maui Fire Department, Bradford Ventura. Okay. In support, Sheldon Howell, Honolulu Fire Department. Okay, in support, Stephanie Kendrick, Hawaiian Humane Society. Okay, support. Okay, Mountain Navigation Company, Nelissa Sato. Okay, comments. Okay, Lynn Marisol, in support. Okay, Gerard Silva. Okay, opposition. Barbara Siganero. Okay, in support. Members, we do have late testimony from Marina Andrade, Village Park Community Association. Okay, in support. Okay, we have Chief Todd from Hawaii Fire Department. Okay, in support. Okay, members, I believe that's all the written testimony we received. Any others wishing to testify that I might have missed? House Bill 1689. Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, let's move on to the last measure. House Bill 2180 relating to harbors, admin bill, I believe. Okay. Up first, we have Department of Transportation.
Good morning again, Chair. We stand on our submitted written testimony in strong support as Kewalo Harbor is no longer under our jurisdiction and the fireboat is no longer in service. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Director. Okay, I believe that's all the testimony we received for House Bill 2180. Okay, any others wishing to testify on House Bill 2180? Okay, seeing none, members, any questions? Okay, seeing none, we're going to recess for decision making. Okay, thank you very much, committee members, members of the audience. Okay, reconvening for decision-making on our 10 o'clock agenda. Okay. First, House Bill 1403 relating to an alternate route site selection survey in Puna. Okay, members, the recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. We're going to exclude the DHHL lands in Section 2B as requested. We understand that there are some funding issues here, but I'd like to keep this measure moving for consideration and ongoing discussion. So members, also, we're going to be adding some technical amendments and defecting the date to July 1st, 2050. Any questions or concerns, members? Yes, seeing none, Vice Chair, House Draft 1.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 1403 with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair votes aye. Representative Clark.
Aye. Aye.
Representative Hashimoto.
Aye.
Representative Kitagawa.
Aye.
Representative Lopresti is excused. Representative Nakamura.
Aye.
Representative Takumi.
Aye.
Representative Matsumoto.
Aye.
Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 2351 relating to traffic safety. Members, the recommendation is to defer. We're going to be working with DOT directly to tighten up some of the language to address safety in the relative area. Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to House Bill 1813, okay, relating to a DOT pilot program for certain highway bridges. Okay, members, we're going to defer this one as well. Okay, we believe DOT is already working on this and will be reaching out to the area legislators. Yeah. Okay, next, House Bill 1485 relating to litter control. Okay, this is the Puna special that we will be deferring as well. Okay, we understand that the department will be working administratively on this to make the certain changes. Okay. Okay, up next, House Bill 2184. This is an EA for DOT for the special maintenance program. Members, the recommendation is to move this as is. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair, unamended.
Thank you, Chair. Noting the absence of Representative Lopresti for this measure and further measures after. And are there any members voting yes? I mean, is there any members voting no? Is there any members voting with reservations? With all members voting yes. Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, Vice Chair. Okay, thank you, members. Moving on to next, House Bill 2182, relating to the State Highway Safety Council. Members, the recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. We're just going to add in some technical amendments there with a defective date of July 1st, 2050 to keep the discussion going. Okay, any questions or concerns, members?
Yeah, Chair, I'm just gonna vote WR based on my constituents' concerns. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, members, any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, Vice Chair, House Draft 1.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 2184, HB 2182 with amendments. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? Representative Nakamura. With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 1411, relating to registration of vehicles. This will require both the transferee and the transferor addresses to be provided on the certificate of ownership when there's a change in ownership. Okay, members, the recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. We're just going to add some technical amendments with a defective date of July 1st, 2050. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Comments? Seeing none, Vice Chair, House Draft 1.
Thank you. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 1411 with amendments. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 1452. Okay, another registration bill. Members, the recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1 for further consideration. We're going to make the U Drive and all other vehicles the same fee schedule of $2. Okay, this may sound a little familiar. We heard a previous bill that was similar to this. But instead of repealing the cap, we heard some concerns there. In the bill, we will keep the cap, but we're just blanking the amount, okay, for further consideration. Okay. And effective date of July 1st, 2050. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Okay, seeing none, House Draft 1, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 1452 with amendments. Are there any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, members, thank you very much. Moving on to House Bill 1681 relating to transportation network companies. Members, the recommendation is to move this as a House Draft 1. We're going to be taking the HIC amendments that was requested regarding Section 2, regarding certain definitions. Okay, members, also we're going to be defecting the date to July 1st, 2050 for further discussion and consideration. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, House Draft 1.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 1681 with amendments. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to the next measure, House Bill 1718. Relating to measurement standards, members, the recommendation is to defer. As well as the next measure, House Bill 1515 relating to aircraft. I'm going to be deferring that measure as well. Okay, thank you very much, members. Moving on to House Bill 2434 relating to water carriers. Members, the recommendation is to continue discussion. I'm going to recommend a House Draft 1 with some technical amendments and a effective date of July 1st, 2050. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 2434 with amendments. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservation? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. House Bill 1689 relating to fireworks. This would require shippers that know that their cargo will include fireworks or articles that are considered pyrotechnic to report certain information to applicable county fire departments, okay, among other things. Members, to continue discussion, I'd like to recommend a House Draft 1 with some technical amendments and an effective date of July 1st, 2050. Questions, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair. House Draft 1.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 1689 with amendments. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much, members. On to the last House Bill 2180 relating to harbors admin bill to do some housekeeping. So members, the recommendation is to move this out as is. Okay, any questions or concerns, members? Seeing none, Vice Chair, as is.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation of the chair is to pass HB 2180 as is. Any members voting no? Any members voting with reservations? With all members voting aye, Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Okay, thank you very much. Committee members, members of the audience, thank you very much. Our next transportation hearing will be on Friday. It'll be a joint with the Housing Committee. Okay, thank you very much. We're adjourned.